Hello, viewers and listeners, and welcome again to New Life Show on AUK Radio. I'm your host, Yinka. And on this show, as with every other episode, we're here to talk about our health and wellness and everything else in between. Now, on this show, we do not diagnose, neither do we prescribe. We're not here to claim to heal any ailment whatsoever. So take every information for use as general purposes only. And do speak to your doctor or your healthcare provider if you're thinking of making changes to your lifestyle. With that being said, let's get on with today's show. So today, we are going to talk about mental health. It affects everybody one way or another. So here it is. So when you hear mental health, what exactly is mental health? A simple definition says mental health is the state of our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we behave in daily life. From how we handle stress, relate to others, and make decisions, to how we see ourselves. So good mental health doesn't mean the absence of challenges, but rather the ability to cope with them in a healthy and balanced way. So on today's show, we're diving into the really important topic of mental health in our Black, Asian, and ethnic minority communities. For far too long, the stigma, the silence, and cultural barriers have stopped many of us from speaking openly about how we really are doing on the inside. The prevalence of mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and PTSD are at least as common in our community, the BAME community, as it is in the wider population. Some studies even suggest that higher rates of certain conditions, such as Black men, are more likely to be diagnosed with serious mental health conditions, such as schizophrenia. Refugee, asylum seekers, and migrants often face higher risk of PTSD, depression, and anxiety due to displacement and trauma. Now, despite all this, our BAME community are less likely to access early support, such as counseling or talking therapies. Now, there are obviously some barriers to access, including the stigma and the taboo, language barrier, limited English or lack of culturally adapted services makes it difficult to navigate the system. And let's not forget the mistrust of services. Spiritually and culturally as well, some communities have misinterpreted mental health strategies or struggles as spiritual attacks, curses, or moral failing. So joining me on the show today is a powerhouse of wisdom and compassion, Pamela Melissa Davis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
How are you
Thank
doing?
you. I'm doing great. Thank you, Koshinka. I mean,
Good,
thank you
good.
for that wonderful introduction.
I haven't
And
even
now about
started yet.
Pastor.
I'm just warming up, because I have to read a little bit about your bio. So that was just
Okay,
a short intro to who this woman is.
okay.
Yeah. So there's
Thank
something
you.
I said I want to start on the show from now.
Mhm.
Tell me one good thing that has
Mhm.
happened to you today. One good thing.
One good thing that has happened to me today. Um, Giving thanks, waking up, breathing, uh, getting out of bed, being
Yep.
able to eat. That's well, the
That's
good
four good
things that's
things.
there. Ah, okay.
Well, thank you.
Just thank God for waking up. That's
Yes, absolutely.
that's a good
Yeah.
thing. Hmm.
Thank you for that. So let me read a short bio of Pamela Melissa Davis. So she's a passionate woman, a minister of God, and a speaker. But so much more than that, she's a registered nurse who has worked across the mental health hospitals, a mentor, and a strong advocate for mental health, neurodiversity, and menopause awareness. Pamela is also the founder of Divine Health Second Chance Limited, and she has dedicated her life to empowering people to break free from stigma, speak up about their mental health needs, and access equal care. She's a mother of four, including a son thriving with autism and ADHD and learning difficulties. She brings a deeply personal perspective to this work. Our mission is simple but powerful: to create awareness, break barriers, and transform the way our community views mental health. That is, replacing shame with support and silence with open conversations. So, Pamela, we are so blessed to have you here with us today on the show.
Okay, thank you for
So, you
having me
sorted that.
today.
You're
And
welcome.
I'm privileged. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you very much.
And it's an honor to have you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I want to probe you a bit about Divine
Mhm.
Help Second Chance Limited. Tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about that.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. You've literally summarized what we're on about. So,
Okay.
Divine Help Second Chance was, and that's well, it was a ministry because everything we do, whether we're working in the secular world, supporting other people, giving, is a ministry. Whatever we are called to do is a ministry. So that was given to me a few years ago to support mothers raising children with special needs,
Okay.
creating awareness,
Hmm.
and obviously, and we have actually also crossed over to including mental health issues as
Hmm.
well in the Black and ethnic minority, raising awareness. And we are, our mission is simple, as you say, is just to essentially let people in our community be aware
Hmm.
that they are not the problem, they
Hmm.
are not their issue. And mental health, as you have summarized it, can affect anybody,
Hmm.
irrespective of who you are. And most
Hmm.
of us are standing, by the grace of God.
Hmm.
So it's as simple as that. Our mission is to speak up, get support. Don't wallow in the issue that you're facing. Shame. If you allow me, as you know, I'm a Christian, and I love the things of God, so I might bring scriptures here and there.
Hmm.
But again, shame is not the fruit of the spirit. You
Hmm.
see, when we talk of the fruit of the spirit, shame is not one of them. So when we come away from that concept of, oh, what will people say? This one will
Hmm.
say, oh, you know, we will be able to live a positive life
Yeah.
and hopefully get the support that we need to become a better version of who we're supposed to be here on earth. So that's a simple mission: get
Hmm.
help, get support,
Hmm.
reach out, impact, and make a difference.
Wow. Simple but powerful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So
Thank you.
let's continue the conversations.
Thank you.
So, Pamela, you're described as a passionate advocate who empowers people in their spiritual as well as their personal lives.
Yes.
So you mentioned being a Christian. So how does your faith shape the way you approach conversation about mental health in our community?
Oh my goodness, it's significant, and I think this just simple. The key word, the operative word there is compassion. Is compassion. You see, because as a woman of faith, if we are looking at the way our Lord Jesus Christ was when he was here on earth carrying out his assignment, how he demonstrated and compassion to others. I mean, to the ones, to the people who were not supposed to be part of the community, to the rejected. You
Outcast.
see, so to the rejected, he was reaching out, always reaching out. So I developed that as a result of knowing who I am in Christ and what Christianity is all about. It's about compassion, reaching out, and love, which is a key scripture. Love your neighbor as yourself. Not necessarily just the man next door. Neighbor is everybody. The person sitting next to you in the pew, in the church, the person you're working with, the person, your co-worker, someone on the street. For example, I was in Peckham yesterday and walking on the high street, and I met this man, unkempt, wearing God knows, and he looked really someone who has like Jesus Christ, the people that came to Jesus rejected by society. Some people will walk past him. But anyway, he asked me, he says, he was standing next to this restaurant. He says, please, can I buy him food? It's like, no, he doesn't want the money. He just wants food to eat.
Hungry.
So, but I'm thinking, he's been standing there. How many people would he had asked? And then he came to me, he said, please. And he's like, and this man said, I'm like, okay, how much do you want? And he goes like, the food cost £15 because it was next to this African restaurant, this restaurant that does African food, £15. And I was honest with him, I said, okay, I will support him. How much? He says, look, I don't need to give me all the £15. I can afford. I said, how much can you afford? They said £5. I said, okay, that's fine. So we went in there and, he called for this. It came up to £15 and I paid the £10 part of it. So that's what Jesus Christ will do. Compassion, you see. And that is how my faith has been something, it's been so significant in terms of, wanting to see somebody else, have a positive, happy, a joyous life. And if that means that giving them the right support, the right information, that will transcend them to that level where they're supposed to be, bring them out of that negative, cocoon, if you like. That is what I'll do. That is what my faith has been able to do for me.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Again,
you're welcome.
Powerful.
Thank you.
So, as a mother raising 4 children, you're a strong woman.
Yes. By God's grace.
Including one who was diagnosed with autism, ADHD, and MLD. I don't know what that one is. Okay.
Mild learning disability.
Okay. Right.
So you've got the mild learning disability, you've got the severe learning disability.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I learned something new today. Thank you.
Yes.
So how has your personal journey influenced your passion for breaking the stigma around mental health?
Okay. Wow, that is a powerful question. What you would describe as expert by experience, apart from being a professional, but expert by experience. So my son, who was dropped on his head at birth, and not many people know that,
Mm.
Yes, by the doctor. And as a result, we found out years later, when he was in his maybe 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, that things were not going right. And
Mm.
his communication, because, people with autism or learning disability, he does not, in some cases, it shows up when they're toddlers. You
Mhm.
can't see when they're babies. Some most cases when they're toddlers,
Yeah.
or when they're in five, or when they go to a reception
Mhm.
nursery and primary school. So it depends on the stages. So it can, show up
Sure.
in so many, different stages. So
Mm.
we realized that something was not right. So then started a long, very long journey of,
Mm.
assessment, diagnosis, and
Mhm.
everything, and then
Mhm.
obviously, ultimately, medication, because obviously the man wasn't sleeping. I mean, till today, it's
Mm.
work is getting better, but till now,
Mm.
that the time my son will be up like 12 hours.
Mm.
We'll go to bed and he won't sleep. And it's not just him not sleeping, but he'll be screaming, he'll be shouting, he'll be so tormented.
Mm.
So it
Mm.
was really a really a negative part of that side of it for him.
Mhm.
And no mother wants to see their child like
No.
that. So it came to a point where, my son will self harm, in terms of
Mm.
he will bite his hands, when he's upset, because of the way obviously his brain works.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he would, and how he processes
Mhm.
information. He
Mm.
will bite his hands. He will harm himself. Before, he will be banging his head on whatever is, whether it's chair or what have you. You know. But gradually, with medication, with prayers, with support,
Mm. Mm.
emotional support, physical support, he's gradually maturing, into a young, fine man. I mean, these
Mm.
things are there, but not as, when there was a time where my son will go on for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, just shouting, nothing we
Mm.
could do, no
Mm.
amount of intervention will
Wow.
pacify this man or calm this man down. No kind of strategies or calming technique or
Techniques.
skill
Wow.
Mo could use to calm this man down. That man will be, until
Mm.
he is satisfied.
Mm.
So
That must have been tough,
I
though.
went. It was. We went through that journey, obviously, because I had to, you know, give him so much attention.
Mm. Mm.
And that's one of the things that I probably will talk about. Actually, I'll just let me just put that in there. Parent carers who are looking after, their young ones, or adult person with special needs or
Mm.
disability. You find that, that young person or that child or that individual needs so much attention, and because
Yeah.
that person gets so much attention, the others,
Yes.
in a way, unfortunately, not intentionally, they
Mm.
get
Mm.
neglected in
Yeah.
some way, and they
Yeah.
feel neglected,
Mhm. Mhm.
because this person is everything. Because I remember my my daughters were, Mom, it's all about Joshua. It's all
Mm.
about Joshua. It's all about,
Mm.
but gradually, as they grow older, they themselves become part of the caring
Mm.
team. You see, so they
Mm.
became a young carer, helping me caring for him, and they got
Yeah.
to understand his
Yeah.
needs. So obviously that fuel the joy, the caring, the support network between
Mm.
us.
Mm.
As I've been a single parent for all these years,
Mm.
obviously, coming out of that now by the grace of God,
Mm.
into another level of life, another season of life. So because they became part of that caring team, that
Yes.
caring community, they developed the understanding, that, what, is not intentional, it's
Mm-hmm.
just the way it is. But at the same time, I was learning from them as well. For
Mm.
my children, they will point things out. Mom, did you see that Josh is kind of manipulating you in a way? Because he is
Mm.
very clever. We shouldn't really underestimate our young people with special
No,
needs. They're
no, no.
very, very smart.
Yeah.
They've got great strength. So I'm like, okay. So gradually, it became something that we all got involved in,
Mm-hmm.
supporting him, calming down, with food, if his caring needs, personal, medication. So we all, myself and the four children, we all became carers
Mm-hmm.
for my
Mm-hmm.
son. And so seeing all of that, and then ultimately went on to train
Mm-hmm.
as a learning disability nurse, and I've been fortunate for the last almost a decade now working in mental health,
Mm-hmm.
whether in hospitals or community. That taught me a great, a great thing. Some of these homes that I see, some of these patients that we care for, I got to understand that most of the parents, especially with the young people, do not understand, the needs of these young ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not able to understand also that they too have rights
Mm.
as well, and they don't understand that they can have equal access to healthcare, you see. And so all of this fuel, you know, my passion and my energy to want to be what I am today,
Mm-hmm.
to support others in that field, and also within the church. If I may say, I bring the spiritual side of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the churches, when we go to the church, what I found that now things are changing, thank goodness for that.
Yes. Yes.
We'll find that most of these children will be isolated.
Mm.
Come Sunday service, come Bible school for the young ones. We'll find that most of the children will be isolated. They will put it in a corner,
Mm.
and most of the parents will find it difficult, challenging to even take their young ones to church.
Mm.
So
Mm.
as a result, they were at home, staying
Mm.
back, which
Mm.
means that they're not benefiting from
That's right.
fellowshipping with the brethren,
Mm-hmm.
you see.
Mm-hmm.
So the stigma of, sister so and so's child, will be running around the
Yeah.
place, running in the church and all of that. That's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not able to sit down for a period of time.
Time. Yeah. Yeah.
So as a result, now myself and a few others, which I now see is evolving in the church,
Mm.
we now started to raise awareness in
Mm-hmm.
the churches and say, you
Mm-hmm.
know what, it doesn't matter who they are. We are all different,
Mm-hmm.
but we are unique in
Mm-hmm.
God's way. Accept these people for who they are,
Mm.
support them for who they are, and it's not just demonic and things like that.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
so in a long, round circle, that is,
You
yeah.
answered the question, but it's when you have a personal story about a
Mhm.
particular area, your passion comes through because it's a lived
Mhm.
experience.
Yes.
So you're
Mhm.
able to
Mhm.
talk from that. And that's
Yes.
what makes it, authentic,
Mm.
isn't it?
Yes. Mhm.
And,
Mm.
you're talking about churches, also of other places of worship. It's
Yes.
creating that awareness. Because for me, years ago, I remember there was a family that had an autistic boy. Looking back now, I didn't
Mhm.
understand it then. And for then, one, they would come to service another few weeks they won't come. So now, I understand they obviously, perhaps they come to church because, today so and so is going to be very loud in church, and people don't understand. They're giving them the looks. And this is where also creating the awareness among the brethren. Not only in our churches, in our mosque, and in other places of worship in our community. So people are aware. And like you said, thankfully, the conversation is getting louder and louder. We're talking more and more about it, just like we're doing here today. Yeah.
Yes.
So, thank you for all you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you about some of the barriers or stigma that you see when it comes to the Black, Asian, and ethnic minority communities in talking about our mental health.
Okay, so let me put this out there. The World Health Organization, when they carried out their research, and it's still prevalent that 1 in 4 people, will experience negative mental health. And post-COVID, that number has actually risen. As we all know, during the COVID period, there was a lot of people were isolated, people who had used work, as an excuse and escapism. You understand what I mean? They now found themselves at home, nowhere to go. People who are earning high, salary and everything now found themselves, with their salary being reduced. So therefore, their lifestyle, the opulence or affluent lifestyle that they used to, you understand, saying now they found that they will no longer be able to fund that lifestyle. You see, people who are taking £1 million mortgage and everything were no longer able to pay that. So we found that partners, husbands and wives who literally hated each other, but were using work as an excuse, because one person would do that night shift, and then they come home, that person is asleep, and then the one go in the morning. So it was like, they all like, literally saying hi, that food in the table, this, that. So they now found themselves, living together in the house 24/7. So obviously that contributed to a lot of frustration, contributed to domestic violence, and contributed to a lot of financial issues, So as a result of that, a lot of people have developed depression. They're now depressed, and some now having to needing an inpatient admission for that. Some of them are needing to have what they call a community, health community team intervention. So a lot of things that happened post-COVID. Most people had neglected themselves, because they were now at home, waking up in the morning, nowhere to go. So people were in their pajamas 24/7. And then so now, post-COVID, they had no they've developed, sorry, I'm coming. So they've developed this habit of, pajamas in bed. You understand what I'm saying? Pajamas at home 24/7. And they had no escapism. So as a result of that, a lot of people had developed anxiety, panic attack, depression, all these so many psychosis features we're seeing now is being presented in people's lives, you see. And unfortunately, it seemed like, if I could say this, for some reason, the mental health budget is now, well, obviously the NHS don't have much money, to be honest. So in terms of budget, obviously it's cut down. So people who are supposed to receive community support, they might just see them like once a month or twice a month. So who's helping them taking their medication? Who's supporting them or monitoring them to take their medication? So a lot of them obviously are not able to take their medication, and which then contributing to deterioration in their mental health. And then, so it's like a revolving door syndrome. Then they're admitted again.
Yeah.
So a lot of these things, so post-COVID, that number has increased.
Yes. Yeah.
It's increased significantly. And we've seen people with low mood. People normally you will see with low mood, and for even in the Christian community, we're seeing these things. A lot of pastors who we've heard this research, so a lot of them, unalive themselves because of the pressure, not able to pay the bills. People are not working. Most people weren't working who were paying tithes and offering. So a lot of them, all that expenses and things, and then you'll find most people aren't going to church. The number of people attending church had decreased as well, because people now find out, okay, they can do Zoom church, online church. You see, and so when they're in online church, they feel no longer obliged to pay tithes. So all these churches, they've lost money, significant funding, and so most pastors were unaliving themselves. So we've seen a lot of things over the period of time. And so when it comes to the Black and ethnic minority, I want to talk about, the stigma, as you've asked the question. So some of the things that have contributed to the stigma, is cultural, first of all. Culture, tradition, social, religion. So all of these are contributed to stigma. So for most Black people, whether they're from Africa, the Caribbean, Asian, in fact, in the Asian community too, is worse as well. They will tell you that they didn't see these things happening. These things never happen, in their community, in their life. They said it did happen, and it's still happening. But what was happening then, like you said earlier, there was a lack of knowledge and understanding of what was presenting themselves, what these things were called. So the names or the diagnosis or the terminology were not really so prevalent at the time. So in the Christian community, or in the Black and ethnic community, especially in Africa, people here say, oh, it's a demon. That person has been attacked by a demon, possessed by a demon, in where I originally come from, and I think also in places like Nigeria and stuff, you hear they say, that person a Christman, somebody.
We don't get depressed.
Yes, absolutely. You don't see those things. What is all that about? So you obviously, with this kind of attitude, people then are not able to get the right supports that they need, with contributing to them deteriorating further. Now, what they do is that some of them, they take them to the churches and they tie them to the poles. They tie them to poles, they chain them. And in the villages or in other parts of the town, you will see they will chain them to a tree. I mean, this is true story. They chain them to the tree and say that, and they will leave them out there 24/7. 24/7, and hoping that that demon that possessed them will come out of them miraculously, just like that. And the practice then, they used to take them to the bush and say especially if a child is presenting with depression, which we're seeing now is so prevalent now. They will take them to the bush. And they said, what they would say to them is that, oh, that's a demon baby, that's a demon child. They would leave them there and expecting that will come out of them. And then what happened then, unfortunately, these people or these young people get eaten by, wild animals.
Wow.
And then they will come back a few days later, that child is no longer there because they've been eaten by wild animal. And what they now say, oh yeah, the demon that gave this child has come back to take the child. Can you imagine? So now when these things are prevalent, we're seeing it more and more, there's this denial.
Yeah.
That is not happening.
Because of the way it's
So,
perceived.
yes. So which means people are not, going to get support.
Yeah. Yeah.
People want to pray this thing out without support. Don't get me wrong. I'm a woman of faith. I love the Lord and I love prayer. But even that, the Bible tells us that, faith without works.
It's dead.
We have that faith that we're going to heal. And I believe that so significantly. However, we need to get the support to work that journey, that will contribute to the healing. And if we're not taking those steps, then there's a lot of problem.
Yeah.
You see? So we need to take those steps.
Yeah.
So what we... Okay, so, sorry, you...
So on that point about steps, I was going to ask you, what are some of the practical steps that our faith communities and families can take to make it safer for people to safely and openly speak out about their mental health struggles?
Okay. So part of what we need to do, first of all, we need to allow people to be themselves. Okay. We need to give people the opportunity to be themselves. We need to, and those who are experiencing whatever form of mental illness, they need to realize that there's no shame in it. We need to dispel this feeling of shame.
Yeah.
Dispel the feeling of hopelessness, dispel this isolation, the discrimination. We need to come away from all of that. We need to dispel that. Because it's the hopelessness that, nobody cares, nobody likes them, nobody supports them, and in many cases is a fact. But there's a solution there. There are people there, there are family members there who you can trust. So isolation, again, is one of the things that is also, contributing to worsening people's condition. So one of the steps we can take, come away from isolation. Okay. So we realize that people are reluctant to ask for help. Yeah, they're reluctant to go for treatment, making their illness worse. And we realize there are fewer opportunities for people with mental health condition or form of illness. There are few opportunities. People with learning disabilities, there are few opportunities, employment opportunities for them. The opportunity, few opportunity for social interaction. I mean, was a mom who was sharing their story. I mean, not just one mom. I've heard it so many times that the young ones will not be invited to other children's party. Yes.
Because mom or dad's got a mental illness, right?
Because because of the family they're coming from, and that child also who is in the same class as them, or because that child, is a problem child, that child has got autism and that doesn't know how to behave and things like that. So that also, contribute to isolation. So they wouldn't invite them to party.
Yeah.
And so there's also self-doubt. Individual going for it, you can see that self-doubt. You see, they doubt themselves. All of these things contribute to worsening their situation. Now, how can we, dispel that? How can we help towards that? In the household of faith, the worship places, in our community, education is important.
Absolutely. First and foremost.
Education. is important. Learning the facts about mental illness. So one thing I wanted to say is that we all have mental health.
Yeah.
When they say mental health,
Yeah.
everybody has mental health, just like we all have physical health. So, but when that mental health is then compromised, that's when the illness comes.
That's right.
In what shape or form. Whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, psychosis, bipolar disorder, AUPD, all of these things. Because why? The mental health has compromised and now it's become mental illness.
Yes. Yes.
So learning the facts about what mental health or mental illness is.
Yeah.
Not judging.
Yes. That's a big
Because
one.
then that gives that person confidence.
Yes.
To get help, to get support, to be around others, to go to church. You understand what I mean? To go to church, to sit with others, to go to parties, that kind of a thing. It gives that person, that individual, the confidence because that individual don't feel judged.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
The label and the discrimination is also another thing that prevent people from getting help and support. So we need to dispel with the label. There's so many labels out there. And I was saying that to myself, like I said in the beginning, or being single parents and everything, it's a different season for me now. I sat down one day by the inspiration of Holy Spirit. I said, you know what? I need to dispel this label or this title of single or let the single come forward for prayers. Whoever is single here, raise their hands up. Do you understand what I mean? So even in the worship place or worship places, people are now known as that single sister.
Yeah, as if that's your name.
Exactly, that becomes, somebody's identity.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Which is wrong. So we need to dispel all of this. Simply because an individual is not yet married does not mean that they identify, as it's a choice.
Yes.
Somebody can just choose to not wanting to be in a romantic relationship. They just enjoy, their own space.
Yeah.
They don't want responsibility. And some will decide, they're waiting. It's a choice.
It is. It is.
So it's the same thing with mental illness. So we need to dispel that label. Sometimes they say, that family, hey, their whole family, they're mad people. They're crazy people. They all have mental health issues. We need to dispel that label. You see? And also, we need to treat people with respect and dignity.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to treat them with respect and dignity. Because then it makes them feel whole as an individual. Because, as God has created all of us, He said we're wonderfully and fearfully made. And when we talk about, I'm just going to dive a little bit into, when we talk about neurodivergence and all of that.
That was my next point. Go ahead.
Thank you. We got to realize, or we ought to realize, that naturally every brain is diverse, just like we're all diverse. You go white, you go black, you go Asian, you go albino, you've got so many. Equally, even in our own community, amongst ourselves, people are diverse. Do you understand what I mean? For example, if you take Nigeria, you got Yoruba, you got Igbo, you got this, you got that. Even within the Yoruba community, you got some who are from this land, some of them are from that land. So we are all diverse. We may have come from West Africa originally or whatever, but we're diverse. Some have come from different part of, Africa. So is the brain naturally. We cannot all think the same or act the same.
Yeah.
So that is why the natural brain is diverse. So how somebody think, how they act, how they process information, how they communicate is completely different when it comes to the neurodiverse, people, because their brain, it learn differently.
Yeah.
I could say to one of my child, oh, please, can you get me that thing from the kitchen? It's like, although it will take them time, young people, okay, I'm coming, but they know what, they know the task. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But like, for example, now, if I'm asking Joshua to go to the kitchen and get me something, first of all, he'll sit there like I'm not talking to him. And I'm like, Josh, so I have to repeat myself and we have to prompt him. Because how he's processing, the way he's sitting there, hold on a minute, why is this woman bothering me? I'm doing my own thing. I'm minding my business. You understand what I mean? I don't even know what she's talking about. So I literally says, Brady, I don't even know what, maybe I don't even want to know. So his brain is telling him differently. Whereas the others will say, okay, mom, I'm coming. I'll get it for you. So I don't have to prompt him 1, 2, 3. Joshua, I'm talking to you. Can you get me those things? Do you see? Yes. So our brain is diverse naturally.
Yeah.
I give you example, someone who, in the corporate world, if you're working in the corporate world, we all learned we learned behaviors. We learn how to communicate in our different fields and our different spheres. For example, someone in the corporate world, you're sitting, on a board meeting. You're not going to go there with your shirt hanging off. No. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Out of your trousers. You're not going to go there with cigarette puffing. You're not going to go there with, you understand what I mean? With like your can of beer, so you're not going to go, hey, uncle, how are you today?
No. Yes.
So you learn that, okay, this is a corporate world. This is how I need to behave. I need to be, be professional.
That's the word.
I need to listen. Yeah. You see, I need to speak the language of a corporate person. Just like in the healthcare. As a nurse, we need to speak the language. You see. So that is how our brain is diverse, neurologically.
Yes.
And so it's important for us to understand that somebody behaving differently from society's norm does not exclude them from being a person, an individual.
Yes.
Who needs to be loved, who needs to be seen, okay, who needs to be respected, who needs to show, they need to show dignity and kindness. So all of us, our journey is different. So is our brain. I don't think the same way as you. Because I don't know if when it comes to exercising, that my brain tells me that I have to get up 5 o'clock in the morning to exercise like you do. My brain tells me get up in the morning and pray. Not that you don't pray. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
we do it differently.
It's different. Yeah, we're doing differently. So we need to, again, talking about education, just like somebody educate themselves. If somebody wants to travel to Manchester, for example, they buy the ticket that says we'll take them to Manchester. Now they're not going to jump on the train that will take them to Edinburgh. Do you see?
Wrong
because
way.
That's not exactly, and that's not their journey plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need to educate
Educate.
ourselves what
Yeah.
we need to do to support our family members, support friends, support co-workers, support
Support
people of
others.
faith.
Yeah.
Yes, support others, period. In community, period.
Yes. Yeah. So, thank you for all you shared so far. So, we're saying, from what we've been saying, educating ourselves, creating that
Yes.
awareness, and
Yes.
of course, not that person is not that label. You're not that label.
No.
It's
No.
like saying
You
you have a
yeah.
headache. You are the headache, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not.
Mm. Yes. That is it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Mm-hmm.
So
So that
it's
individual got to realize that, they're not their illness. It's just a condition
yes.
and can be treated with the right, intervention.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
So another way to deal with this, we do not hide away.
Yeah. Like you said, we need
Do
to.
not hide away. Reach out and get help. And don't hide your family members away either.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Also,
remember growing up.
mhm,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
you probably know that Abbas is know that as well. We have incidences or cases of young children
yeah,
that perhaps maybe
mhm,
have one disability or another,
mhm,
and they're tucked away in a room at home.
yes,
They hardly
yes,
ever come out
mhm,
because,
mhm,
again, the taboo, what will society or community say about
mhm,
this? But it's
yes,
not the child's fault. It's not
no,
the parent's fault.
mm-mm,
And the
mm-mm,
poor child has not lived because they've been, tucked
yes,
away in a room,
isolated, yes,
isolated.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and what you say that is so significant because even in the Western world, even here in UK, these things used to happen even among the elites as well. The elite, sorry, not the elite, the elite and middle class people and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
used to hide their people away. They would tuck them in one hospital like that.
Yeah.
And during that time, it wasn't even, what do they call them now? They used to call them not psychiatric hospital. They used to call them hospital for mad people. So even within the elite, these things were happening.
Yeah.
And then obviously in Africa, it's even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard of situation here where a family member hid an adult for years. They hid this person up in the cellar, in the what you call it, in the
In the loft.
cellar, in the loft for years.
Wow.
And that person eventually, I don't know how it happened, but by God's grace, that person eventually they got intervention. When they brought that individual out, there was skin and
Oh my
bones.
goodness. Oh, wow.
Yes,
Wow.
these things happening.
Yeah.
So don't hide your family member away.
Yeah.
Don't hide them away. Be proud. They're God's masterpiece.
God's
You
masterpiece.
know. So try somebody we're talking again about how to deal with the stigma. We're still on the topic of how to deal with the stigma.
Yeah.
Somebody experiencing mental health issues or mental illness, remember that do not allow the ignorance of other
Oh,
people
yes.
influence the way you feel, influence the way you feel about yourself, influence the way how you get help, how you get support, or what you do with your life. Do not allow the ignorance because people are ignorant.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You see,
Absolutely.
connect with other people, connect with others, join mental health support groups. There's
And there's
so
so
many
many
out
out there
there.
today.
And I'll probably give you some, I'll just highlight some before we close. You see, recognize that mental illness is not a weakness.
No.
It's not a weakness. It's a condition. It's just that the brain is saying differently. Build resilience. You know, it's so, as I was saying, that it's so, it's something that can be, from it's not even from one extreme to the other. It's something that, can quickly change somebody's life, someone's perspective, someone's thinking. It's something that can, we've seen people who 1 minute they were with their family, living an affluent life, and the next minute, they've gone to the extreme. You see? And for some of us is that, because we have the scriptures, we have God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus with us, and the scriptures. And when you understand, that's what I'm saying, education is important. Understand, okay, this feeling I'm getting is not actually normal, it's not right. Quickly do something to change that. Don't allow it to now, okay, I'll see how it goes by tomorrow. I'll see how it goes by next tomorrow. Because these things can quickly take hold. If it's fear, it can quickly take hold and becomes a panic. Become a panic attack. Develop into anxiety. And before you know, depression is setting in. And you have people who are just even fearful because they've deteriorated so badly. They're even, fearful of stepping out of their house, opening the door.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard of those. Yeah. So what I hear you say, it's, being aware of our emotionally aware, or should I say in this case, mentally being aware of changes in our feelings, changes in our moods, and try to fix it.
Yes. Absolutely.
If you can't fix it yourself, ask for help before, like you say, deteriorating to even more serious mental health illness.
Yes. And so I just wanted to just input there that, we all have responsibility. We all have a role to play to develop or build an inclusive environment. And that's, in fact, if you start from the place of worship, there has to be an inclusive environment. If it's changing in the professional world, in the circular world, where they have so many things they have to do to include, it being inclusive of, the different things that are coming on now, you know what I mean? Not to go into details. If they're doing all that, changing policies, we as BAME, Black ethnic minority, whether you're Asian or whatever, you have a role to play. In the mosque, you have a role to play. To build an inclusive environment. In the churches, place of what you have a role to play. In your workplace, in your family, you have a role to play.
Yes.
Because you've seen some family members who ridicule others. It does happen, which means that you see that individual that's experiencing mental health issues get isolated from family events.
Yes.
We all have a role to play.
Absolutely. So it's all our responsibility,
Yes.
individually, as a community,
Yes.
Your responsibility, my responsibility.
Yes. Develop that environment that can support recovery, not an environment that will contribute to deterioration.
Thank you for that. Developing that environment that will help us to be brave, bold, to talk about our mental health.
Absolutely.
So finally, or almost finally, what changes would you like to see in the healthcare services to make more accessible and responsive to the needs of the ethnic minority groups, particularly concerning this issue we've been talking about, mental health.
Okay. So, what I would like to see is an environment, or is our policies, that would allow or contribute to, especially Black ethnic minority, having equal access to healthcare.
Yeah.
So we need to. There's a scripture that says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge," right?
Yeah.
That is so true. I'd like to see, more training. Now it's even worse, especially with learning disability nurses who are specialized in dealing with individuals with, learning disability, including autism, dyslexia, all of some of those things, including even, the way they communicate, the way they think, the way they access the community, the way they access care, so learning disability nurses who are specialized in those roles have actually significantly reduced, because the government, a few years ago, before the Labour government, that was way before the Labour government, the Conservative government just cut funding that, I was able to get a lot of mature nurses, even younger nurses, into those roles. So this man, what's his name now? Cameron, he had a child that had disability. And during that time, when this man, his child was alive, they were pumping money, social care, training social workers, more nurses, mental health, learning disability nurses, and everything, money into the community for special needs and people to access community and all of that.
Yeah.
And then the moment that man's child passed, it's like that man just became so hateful. God forgive me. I'm not saying he is, but I'm just saying the way he presented, because suddenly they just cut funding. Cut funding significantly. And now they wanted nurses to pay, for their own training. So many mature, people, women and men who will go into the profession say no, they don't want to be lumbered with, that student debt. So people now, would not go into that profession. The number it's reducing, and as I'm speaking to you now, that number is significantly reduced. And now we're seeing a lot of problems.
Yeah.
For example. Yes, a serious need. For example, I read about just a couple of days ago, this young person with special needs, because we support, people with Down syndrome and all of that. So this young person was, learning disability, was in a care home or some supported living. So he fell anyway, had a fall, and was taken to hospital. Now, because there was no specialist nurses there to understand this man's need, what did the doctor do? They put it up as nail by mouth. But nail by mouth, for me, I would have gone in there and like, okay, nail by mouth. Why is this individual nail by mouth? Do they have problems swallowing? Are they going to have an operation? Are they going to have surgery and what's not? So why then? And it's gone 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Nail. Why is this person nail? What is going on? Do you understand what I mean? So this went on for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or something like that, without nobody noticing that this individual needed, to eat. They needed some nutrition, or even they could have given this person, nutrition supplements, IV fluid, and I feed, all of that. They could have done all of. They didn't. What happened at this man? By the time they noticed, the man passed.
Wow.
Yes, I mean was there a couple of weeks ago. Yes. So we need education.
Definitely.
We need people in our community to stop shaming others, or we need people to stop feeling shame. We need family to stop feeling shame.
Yeah.
We need to advocate for acceptance, because it's acceptance really that contributes to someone feeling cared for, loved, and not feeling rejected, those kind of things. Because rejection comes from so many things, not just from trauma or childhood trauma, or physical abuse, or what kind of abuse. So it also comes from that when somebody's mentally unwell, and they're everybody's backing away. That's rejection. And that can contribute to making the condition worse. So we need information. We need people to access information to develop their knowledge. And we need more of that. We need a drive, from local authorities, from the government. We need more drive. It's not just sound bites. It's not just sound bite. They're gonna do, and then they don't.
So we need campaigns to educate
yes,
people.
absolutely.
Education.
And we need people who are caring for people with any form of mental health condition or disability. We need them to care for themselves. We need them what they call self-care. You know a lot about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Self-care. We also need to focus on people's strength. What can they do? Especially when it comes to people with learning disability. What can they do rather than what they can't? I remember one time having a meeting, with a group of professionals and a teacher and stuff. And they're like, oh, this child can't do this. This child can't do this. And I just stopped them in their track. But I think that was the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. Even then, I wasn't, I wasn't trained, I hadn't trained, it's just by knowledge and experience. I stopped them on my track and I'm like, how about what the child can do? When I said that, everyone just stopped on their track. Like they all froze.
Yeah.
And that really titrates and then sort of like transcend to turning things around for that child. Because they're now looking at, okay, how can we focus on the strength of this child?
Yes. Yeah.
Or the strength of that person. Whether it's a partner and things like that, how can you focus on that? If it's a partner, we need to allow, for the other partner to, give them grace to support the person going through it. It's not easy. But give yourself grace to support them and give the other person grace who's going through it. I see a lot of the Caucasian, they have partners, they have women who have been experiencing some kind of mental health condition for years and years and years. It comes and go, comes and go, comes and go. Do you understand what I'm saying? They get treated and then they, deteriorate again. But these men, they will hang about. They will hang about supporting the women year in and year out. Equally, the women as well. But in the Black ethnic minority, the moment that happens, the man is, finding his way out. It's true.
Wow.
And the moment, a woman, bore a child with some, they found out later or earlier that child has some kind of disability and whatever, the man is legging it.
Would you say that's again comes down to lack of awareness of or understanding of the particular situation?
All of that.
I
All
know
of
that
that
there are obviously
encompass.
some other factors,
Yes. Yes,
involved as well.
some of those, all of those are part of the factors. Again,
Mm.
I think is not only lack of knowledge or awareness, but also is that what will people
People
say?
say, yes, yes. That's a big one,
So
actually. What would people
yeah,
say?
is that shame factor? What will people say?
Yeah.
How can they look people in the eye? How can they go to church
Which
with
comes back
somebody
to
like
that
that?
point about it's all our responsibilities as
Yes,
individuals.
absolutely.
Mm.
You see, to create that, supportive environment for recovery.
Mm. Mm. Yes.
Because remember, I don't know how long more we have.
About 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Because, okay, when we have the next one, because I wanted to talk about, how women are more prevalent, you get me, to mental health problems compared
Yeah.
to men.
Man.
But women are more, let me just put it this way, scratch that. Women are more prevalent to getting treated
Said yes. Mm-hmm.
than men.
Is that because we talk?
29%, maybe. Because we talk so.
We're talking now.
So,
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
but
We are coming back with part 2 and looking at
yes,
women and mental health.
yes, I would love that because
Yeah.
we need to, especially the BAME woman.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
So they need to speak to their GP.
Mm-hmm.
You see, there's this thing they call confidentiality. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there come a time where legally that can be broken.
Yes.
If someone is at risk,
yeah.
you know that, okay, this person is not, got out of bed for 5 days. They've not come out of bed. They just say, hon, are you okay? Yeah. They're saying to them that something is not right. They're not feeling okay. They're feeling tired. They're not themselves. Their behavior, their attitude, is different. They're not cleaning the environment. They're not caring for the child. They're not caring for themselves, and they're not active. And this is going on weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Come on now.
Yeah.
For sure that something's
wrong.
It's not right.
Absolutely.
And you say, hon, we need to go see the doctor. Say, no, I'm fine. And then the same thing continues. No, that is your cue to now pick up the phone, call your doctor and say, look, you think that you feel something is wrong. Explain the symptoms, explain what you see as being, the person has been experiencing, and how you as a family as well,
affected.
what you guys have affected and experiencing. And likely that doctor is going to call that in, because the doctor, they all have our phone numbers anyway, that will call that person and invite that person to come in and have a chat and for support.
Yeah, very, very important.
Get social worker involved. Black community think that when they say social worker is to come and take the child. No. They're there to help. That's their job.
Yes.
They're there to support. Get them involved. Get family members, somebody you can trust. Someone you can trust, not someone who cho, as they would say, who talks. Because some people, you tell them by the time they walk out that
the whole village knows about it.
Where you go? Calling a call. I hear this is that. Wow, I only spoke to this person. So find someone you can trust.
Yeah.
Get yourself out there. Yeah. Put comedy things on. So if you're feeling down, you're feeling low, and that mood is not going, put some comedy, laugh. You're allowed. Go out for a meal. That's what you call self-care. Go to the spa.
Exercise.
Treat yourself. Exercise. Yes, our queen.
It doesn't have to be 5 a.m. But
I know,
whatever
right?
time you do it, it's good for you.
Absolutely. Exercise. Go to the cafe, go to
Yes.
restaurant, take
Look
yourself
after
out on a
yourself.
date. Look
Yeah.
after yourself. It's so
Very,
important.
very, very
If it
important.
makes you feel good, buy yourself a new dress. If it makes you feel, get yourself a new wig.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
I'm not
I know what
saying
you
you do
mean.
you. But,
Oh, wow. It's
do
been a
the things
wonderful
that you
time
couldn't
today.
do
I mean,
before.
mental
Thank
health
you.
is a huge topic.
It
And
is.
I'm glad you already accepted the invitation to come for part
Thank
2.
you.
So
Thank
that's
you.
going to be another interesting conversation,
Yes.
but
Yes.
also educative as well for our
Hmm.
listeners and viewers.
Thank you.
So, what can I say? We have gone over that 1 hour time.
Oh, okay. You shouldn't.
But I know
Okay.
it just goes to show
Mm,
the importance
mm.
of this particular topic. We need to
It
talk
is.
about it. And no
Yes.
regrets. And I'm glad,
Yes.
you could spare the time. So
That's
thank
okay.
you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Yes.
coming today
Thank
to
you.
share with our listeners and viewers
Thank you.
your
Yes.
passion.
Thank you.
It shows from all that you've, spoken to us about today.
Mm.
And
Yes.
looking forward to part 2.
Thank you so much. So am I, by the grace of God.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's
Thank
a
you.
privilege. I really appreciate the opportunity
Thank you.
to be here. I
Thank
hope
you.
it helps. I hope it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know,
It does.
love humanity,
Mm,
makes a difference.
mm.
Try to see changes. Work towards being a better version of yourself.
Amen.
Create a
Thank you.
positive environment.
Yes.
You know,
Very, very
for
important.
supportive recovery. God bless you. I love you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Love you too.
Yes,
So,
thank you,
well,
darling.
dear viewers and listeners, thank you so much for listening. Yes, this is part 1 of part 2 of mental health in our community. So, as always, remember to look after yourself and let's get wealthy together by staying
Yes,
healthy.
amen.
Until
Yes,
next time,
amen.
take
Yes.
care.